Hey everybody, Ballers and Briefs back with
What up?
another one.
Back at it again.
So yes. So another top five list for you. This is the top five fantasy relevant free agent signings from this off season. So without further ado, let's just get it cracking. So um the first man on the list is Josh Jacobs, the Green Bay Packers. Um, he has 233 attempts, 805 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3.5 yards per carry, 37 receptions, 296 yards, no touchdowns in 13 games. So, first thoughts: who does it affect more, Brad? Jordan Love or Josh Jacobs? Who is this signing more important to? Him as a fantasy football running back, or Jordan Love as a Green Bay Packers quarterback?
I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs here. I just believe that his production, while it may not necessarily increase, it stays the same, which is important because if you actually go back and look at the numbers, the production. I mean, if you look at the numbers there, the production is there. It's definitely the yards per carry may not necessarily be there, but when you look at the fantasy production, there were games where he had really before sort of the whole thing collapsed. You saw some definitely some really good fantasy worthy games. He played in 13, so you can see that the production is there. It just depends on how he's used, and I believe in this system he'll be used more effectively. So yes, I believe he's more impacted than Jordan Love. What do you think?
Look, Lafleur is going to get in the ball, I believe, early and often. So I think that this is a win for Josh Jacobs, but it's a win for Jordan Love too, to have somebody like Josh Jacobs that can catch the ball out of the backfield, kind of like Aaron Jones did, but can run the power game like like he did in his time in Vegas with the Raiders. So I
Right.
believe that his draft stock's going to shoot up just because of that. Now, this guy that's next on the list, absolutely, is going to shoot up the draft boards.
Oh yeah.
He's
Oh,
always perennial top five, I would say, running back drafted in fantasy. Saquon Barkley with the Philadelphia Eagles. First thoughts on this signing, Brad?
I love this signing. I think he's going to fit in well with the offensive scheme. I definitely could see myself even potentially looking at drafting him. I'm looking at running backs very heavy this year than previous years. Going to try to change it up a little bit. So I love this signing. He'll fit in great with Hurts, and I know if Phil was here, he'll be stomping on the table saying, "No, you guys are wrong. You need to avoid this guy because the running quarterback." But again, I just think that the production will be there for him like it was for Swift last year.
How many tush pushes does Saquon Barkley push Jalen Hurts into the end zone? So I like that negative correlation that you dropped there, Phil. Little Phil knowledge. So personally, I am kind of afraid of this, just because I like the fact that Saquon is with Philadelphia now, but I'm a little scared personally because of that fact itself. Just because
Gotcha.
Philadelphia is losing Jason Kelsey. The tush push might not be as effective.
Effective.
Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has got to get used to another center. So this could end up being a something that saves Jalen Hurts, or it could hurt them. I feel like Saquon Barkley does hurt other players on the Eagles, though. With that being
I got you.
said, I think, and he's got to get. I believe he's got to get these 14 games up. Like he's got to stay healthy for 17 games. This is Saquon Barkley. You
True.
are top tier running
Very
back,
true.
dude. You got to stay healthy, and that
I
hurts. That
noticed.
hurts. I mean, for those 14 games, and you're playing 16 to 18 in a fantasy season, you need this guy for all of them. So next on the list, somebody we dropped in our top five favorite fantasy signings. Derrick
Yep.
Henry, the King, is back. He is in Baltimore. Um, I think this is your typical. This is going to I think this this is another negative correlation with a running quarterback in Lamar Jackson and power back like Derrick Henry. So I think it could end up backfiring on him as a fantasy running back because of Lamar has a tendency to he can take the carries away. But we have seen what Gus Edwards did, so he's definitely a better version of Gus Edwards.
I'm leaning more better, a better version of Gus Edwards, and the amount of production and touchdowns, and it's just maybe the 1 yard touchdowns that could be the difference. But those add up.
Yeah, definitely. And he doesn't really offer anything in the passing game. So if they get behind, it's going to be the Keaton Mitchell show. And I don't know if they're going to play from behind much, but if that's a possibility that he does, and Derrick Henry can be sitting there, riding the pine just a tad bit. So, next on the list is somebody that I feel like took your soul and just ripped it out of your chest. Like, does it hurt that bad?
It hurts a little bit, because you don't want someone to go to a rival, but I don't know if necessarily the fit was really perfect last year with Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley. Whereas I actually believe that this fit in a sort of a Will Levis style offense that will actually be better for Calvin Ridley, because Will Levis likes to kind of have that deep pass throw, whereas that's where Calvin Ridley's game's more geared to, whereas the Jaguars offense is a little bit more shorter route concepts. That's where we really, that's our bread and butter than it is sort of the deep passes. So definitely watch out for Calvin Ridley next year a little bit more. And it's the second year coming back.
I mean, he's literally Calvin Ridley on one side, D Hop's on the other side, and Tennessee brings in Tony Pollard. They got Tyjae Spears too. So this is going to be a full, basically new offense. Brian Callahan. We remember his dad, Bill Callahan, offensive line guru. He's bringing his dad in to be his offensive line coach. So I think I think that this 1,000 yards, I think I could see 1,000 yards again. I think I could see 1,000 yards, maybe a little more touchdown, maybe 8, maybe not.
Yeah, I agree. I see similar production.
4.5 receptions a game, about 13. I mean, 13 yards a reception is I think that's pretty good. Like, I mean, that's a first down in a quarter.
Gabe Davis signing, he's averaging 16.7 per reception. No big deal, but it happens.
But like Gabe Davis, how often is Gabe Davis on the field? May not be like literally hurt and not on the field, but like in Buffalo, he would go 4 games and just essentially disappear.
But you won't have that with Ridley. I will say they're paying him all that money. They're going to throw him the ball. So from a fantasy perspective, I expect, probably 8 or 9 targets at least plus per game. In that offense, at least 8 or 9.
I think so too. And this is going to be a quicker, faster offense than what we've seen with the Derrick Henry pound the rock, Mike Vrabel type offense over the years. So get used to it. Maybe some fireworks. I hate to tout it, but the AFC South is where it's at. Come watch the AFC South. We got a good brand of football going on, and some really good young quarterbacks in the AFC South this season. So,
agree.
From one wide receiver to another wide receiver, and this one could not be any more relevant than the world we are living in right this very moment. Hollywood Brown signing with the Chiefs. This is last year in 14 games. I mean, he only had 4 touchdowns, but that was with a plethora of quarterbacks. Literally didn't have Kyler Murray most of the season. They had Josh Dobbs throwing him the ball. I think they even had Trace McSorley out there maybe throwing the ball once or twice.
It was rough.
Yeah, and Hollywood, I think with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes that can get him the ball, like we've seen him he's got wheels, right? He can get downfield, vertical downfield, and Pat can get him the ball. So I'm not saying
When I
he's going to
look at
be
a lot
Tyreek
of the
Hill.
signings, and maybe I'm a little higher than others, but I actually see this as being one of the better signings of all of the signings across the board because of the fact that his skill set reminds you of that Tyreek Hill, maybe a poor man's version, but still a speedster just as much. And I think that some of the element to Pat Mahomes' game is that downward field throw that they just weren't able to capture really a lot of times last year, which kept games in closer for them. And so they were kind of constantly trying to find ways to win games tough. I think a receiver like him that can take the top off the defense changes a lot. And so his draft production definitely I see going up next year. His draft production, his draft spots next year, I definitely see going up because a lot of people will see the same thing, say the same things. I'm saying that, hey, yeah, he maybe only had 574 yards, but even with that, it's 11.3 per catch. So you know he's still able to get downfield even with a bad quarterback play. Now,
Oh yeah,
add quarterback play in, that number ticks up to potentially a 16, 17 per reception. And then the numbers start to change even more for instance, even just 51 yards. And so, I mean, excuse me, 51 receptions. So I really like this pick. And I really like him next year within that offense. Again, I may be a little high, but that's okay.
no, but I mean, I think this is essential, especially with this Rashee Rice business that's going on, with the potential arrest, with the arrest warrant and everything like that, and that's a potential suspension, right? So,
At
um,
least.
it could be bad for him, but good for Hollywood, especially and good for Patrick Mahomes in the fact of that he's got somebody that we know is a proven commodity, and still I feel like he has plenty of tread on the tires, if you will,
Agreed.
So
Yes.
he's
Yes, I
got
agree as
that
well.
time where I didn't want him to get this to be kind of like, what was it, a couple years ago when they went out and signed Sammy Watkins, and he wasn't Sammy Watkins that we knew, right? So um I
But the
feel
thing
like that
about Sammy, the
Hollywood.
injuries had taken a toll with Sammy Watkins, and at that point in his career, he didn't have that same breakaway speed. Whereas I haven't seen anything where I felt that Hollywood Brown has lost a step. And so from that perspective, I think they're signing a really good talent that may be able to get some deep passes, and he may be a little boomer bust, but I think you're gonna like those booms, kind of like Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and I'm not wasting like a number one wide receiver pick on him, but he's a hell of a mid round wide receiver too.
Yep,
Even maybe if you can
a
steal him
very
in like,
strong flex play.
yes, like he's one of those that you can look for in times of, okay, I'm down. I got a Kansas City game on a Monday night. I'm down by 6 points. I need Hollywood to come out here and get me 5 receptions for 35 yards. That's eight and a half points, right? And maybe a touchdown so I can carry it, like, or we know Kansas City is gonna be there late in the season. So like those kinds of things where, all right, I need points, and we're gonna put points up. And Andy Reid's gonna scheme. He's gonna scheme Hollywood to the best of his ability, I think. And Kansas City still has the potential to draft a rookie, so rookie wide receiver. So that plays into that too. They're still going to need somebody to put that new rookie in a good position to succeed. So,
Agreed.
but what out of those five, which one makes the most sense to you? I mean, obviously, I heard what you said about Hollywood, but like, was that the best? The Josh Jacobs, Green Bay, Saquon, I mean, or Derrick Henry? I mean, up or down. Like it doesn't matter. Like which one you think
Yeah,
is the most
I
important out of this
really
group?
like the Hollywood Brown pick, but then and I kind of said a little bit on another taping, but that I really like the fit with Derrick Henry and Baltimore. I think it's even being downplayed a little bit because we believe that sort of Henry's on the outs, but that is not the running back that I saw last year. It's not what's shown in the production either. I think that he has at least another couple years on his bid. So I would definitely be trying to get Derrick Henry. If I could match him with the Lamar Jackson, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's good, especially with the way that we're. And then I feel like now that this is crazy, but that hip drop tackle thing being banned, that's how guys are trying to tackle him, right? And that's being banned. So now you got to try to hit him head up. And this is a guy you don't want to try to hit head up like that. And so that makes the most sense, I think, out of this group. But I'm still scared a little bit about that negative correlation with Lamar Jackson. My most significant, I think, out of this group is probably the Josh Jacobs signing with Green Bay, especially since we thought that they were going to be paired with Aaron Jones, and then they ship Aaron Jones out basically the same day. I like pure form Josh Jacobs when Josh Jacobs is top tier, right? Like when he's in pure form, and I think that Matt LaFleur can get that out of him, and we'll see the Josh Jacobs that we saw a couple years ago when he was that in that year when he was coming into the contract year, and then they signed him to the 1 year deal or whatever it was, or maybe tagged him and he had to play on the tag. And so I think they're going to get their bang for their buck, especially with the young quarterback, and the fans there in Green Bay are going to see, okay, we're going to get a running back that we haven't had like that in a while, something that's like a full on amalgam of all types of running backs, because he does that power game, he does the speed game. Obviously, like here, he does catch the ball out the backfield, but the thing about it is he's got to stay healthy. And this is cold weather up there come to the end of the year, so hitting that ground is like hitting concrete. So, but yeah, I think that's the best five that we could come up with. We would love to hear what the community has in store, what y'all's thoughts are. We are on Twitter, X/Twitter, whatever you want to call us, Ballers and Briefs. Obviously, we have the Facebook page. We're on TikTok, as long as TikTok's going to be around. So let us know. We really want to know what you guys think, and
we appreciate the love. We appreciate the likes.
We'll be back.
Subscribes, everything. We love it all. We really do. This is a passion for us. We want to bring you the best product we can provide, given the new changes, as you can see, through the production side. So we're trying to give you the best we can give you, so that you can be the best you can be in your daily fantasy.
That's it. So we appreciate you guys, and we will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.